So you're thinking about making a move to Centreville, Virginia, and you'd kind of like to know a little bit more about where it's located, proximity to Washington, D.C., metro, airports, and what it has to offer for shopping, dining, and entertainment. You are in the right place. Today, I'm going to be touring you around Centreville, and we are going to dive right into it with how far away is it from Washington, D.C. Centreville is just shy of 25 miles outside of the city. Without traffic, that equates to about 40 minutes, but keep in mind, I'm a broken record on this topic. Northern Virginia definitely has its fair share of traffic. So while you certainly can drive into the city, if there's no traffic, it won't be bad at all. But if there is traffic, well, that commute could get a little daunting after a while. Centreville does not have its own metro station, but the good news is it's not too far, just about 10 miles from other metro stations, and that is Vienna and Innovation Center in Herndon. So you absolutely could take metro even when you live in Centreville. You just have to get yourself to the station to be able to then head into the city. Personally, if I lived in Centreville, I couldn't handle that drive on 66. One of the pros of Centreville is it has easy access no matter where you are to 66, but there is quite a bit of traffic that occurs on that road really 7 days a week. I always like to share proximity to both Tysons Corner and Arlington because they are both major employment hubs in our area. If you are coming from Centreville heading into Tysons, you're looking at about 15 miles, and then Arlington, you're looking at about 20 miles. Of course, depending on where you're coming from in Centreville, but it's not a huge area, so that's about average. And traffic is just going to depend on what time you are commuting. If it's peak, I would plan on 45 minutes to an hour to get from Centreville to Tysons. And from Centreville to Arlington, I would plan on a solid hour, possibly a little bit more, unless you're taking the express lanes, which will certainly speed up your commute. But at the same time, they will also put a dent in your wallet. Dulles is going to be the closest airport to Centreville, only about 12 miles away, so anywhere from 15-20 minutes. You will want to just be mindful that 28 does back up during peak times. They've made a lot of improvements. They're nowhere near the amount of lights that there used to be, and that's helped a lot. But if you are going to be flying out of Dulles coming from Centreville during peak hours, especially in the morning, make sure that you are checking what's going on with traffic and allow yourself enough time. Reagan is also worth mentioning. It's a little bit further, about 30 miles away, so I would plan on probably about 45 minutes. Again, just depending on what traffic is doing and whether you're taking 66 to the Beltway and then 395 or 66 to 395. The good thing is you do have options. Centreville is super convenient to major commuter routes. But as is a way of life in Northern Virginia, you always have to check that GPS to make sure that traffic isn't going to mess up your commuting plans. Now let's talk about what Centreville has to offer in terms of my favorite dining. Centreville has so many options for restaurants. I have not even scratched the surface, but I do have a couple favorites that I want to mention. First up is Caffeine. I actually visit this in the vlog on Centreville, so if you haven't checked that out, be sure to watch. That'll give you an idea of not only local spots, but also what the real estate market is doing in Centreville. There's also Texas Donuts, by far my favorite donut shop in all of Northern Virginia, but you have got to get there early because I have been multiple times where they have a little sad sign on the door that they're all sold out for the day. They're that good. They definitely have a following and are worth checking out. I also like Ciao Osteria. Their calamari is phenomenal. If you are an Italian fan or pizza, check them out. And there's also the Red Rocks and Tequila Bar. Their food is just delicious and they make a really good margarita too. I can't talk about dining and not mention Sweetwater Tavern in Centreville. It really is a staple to the area, and it's part of the great American restaurant chains here. If you're not familiar with them, be sure to order their Aussie rolls. They are just so good. And at Sweetwater, my favorite is the Drunken Ribeye. The food and the service is always consistent there, and it's by no means fancy, but it's certainly not McDonald's either. I think it's sort of a nice happy medium. Great place to go hang out with friends and family and have a nice meal, and always great service there. If you're really starving and you're looking to go all in, be sure to check out the Meat Project. and that is all you can eat Korean barbecue. You really have to go with an appetite, in my opinion, to get your money's worth, but if you're up for the challenge, check them out. Whether it's just stopping into a local coffee shop or having a nice meal, Centreville really checks all the boxes as far as dining goes. There's a lot of different cultures that are represented, and they really have a diverse food scene, which I would say is the case for the majority of places in Northern Virginia in general. We are not lacking on the dining front. When you're living in Centreville, you will have easy access to daily needs, from dry cleaners to grocery stores to dentists, doctors. Centreville is very well networked in terms of not needing to travel too far. In some cases, you could actually walk to the grocery store. You have Giant, you have Trader Joe's, you also have H Mart. So you have some variety there as well. And the other thing about Centreville is they also have the movie theater. So if you're looking for entertainment, you won't really have to leave Centreville for that. In addition to the movie theater, they also have Bolero. I've never personally been. It's a bowling alley and an arcade, and I'm told they also have really good food and drinks. Check them out as well. I think that that's something nice about Centreville. They do not have a downtown area, which can be a downside, but certainly everything that you need, from daily needs to dining and entertainment, they're all right at your fingertips. You don't have to go too far if you don't want to. Speaking of entertainment in Centreville, they do have something that's really special, and that's the winery at Bull Run. If you are a fan of wine, or even if you are just a novice and getting into wine, this is a great winery to go to. It's an absolutely beautiful setting, and it's both educational if you're interested in having some education about the wine, and a lot of it is locally sourced grapes, but it's also just a fun spot to hang out if you really don't care about the education part and you just want to enjoy some wine. Really beautiful setting. They also have live music there sometimes, so be sure to check that out. I think it's really special that it's right in Centreville, because not a lot of cities in Northern Virginia can say that they have wineries, especially in Fairfax County. Cox Farms is another beloved destination in the Centreville area and really brings people in from all over, not even just Northern Virginia. Been family owned for decades, and fall in particular, they put on an incredible fall festival. The kiddos absolutely love it. So even if you don't land in Centreville, if you're in the Northern Virginia area, Cox Farms is definitely worth checking out. Centreville is home to 74,230 people. And I know that sounds like a big number, but I want to mention it because Centreville, of course, does have some areas that are densely populated. But what's interesting about Centreville, and I think quite special about it, is you can also still find homes with acreage there. So if you're looking for a little bit of elbow room, that's an option as well. And it's also home to Bull Run Regional Park, which is 1,500 acres. We also visit this in the vlog. It's absolutely gorgeous there. There's Atlantis Water Park. So in the summer months, if you are looking for activities to do with the kids, that's great to check out. They also have a shooting center there. My husband and I have been skeet shooting, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And it's just a beautiful place to go in general. Coming up for this time of year, they will have the Festival of Lights. I believe that runs through just before Thanksgiving to the New Year. We actually drive from Alexandria out to Centreville even when it's rush hour and there's a lot of traffic, just because the Festival of Lights just puts you in that holiday spirit, and it's a lot of fun to go drive through. The median home value in Centreville is $551,000. So if you are looking for your money to go a little bit further and you don't mind being a little bit of a ways away from the city and outside of the Beltway, Centreville is a great option. It really checks all the boxes. It also has a lot of highly rated schools, although you know you're going to get my disclaimer of always do your research and do what's best for you and your kids. And it also just has everything you can need right at your fingertips. You're also not too far from Fairfax, Alexandria, Arlington. If you want to explore other areas of Northern Virginia, Centreville certainly checks that box as well. You could make a day of it and have a really great time exploring the other areas that we have here. We are trying a new format for this Google Maps video. If you've watched our older style, drop me a comment below and let me know if you like the new style better. And of course, as always, if you have any questions about Centreville or the Northern Virginia area, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And until I see you on the next one, I hope to show you around soon.